welcome back to another episode of Manic Monday. I am Deanna, and this is season 2, episode 3. So thank you so much for keeping up with the episodes so far, and strap in, get ready for story time. So the last episode I left off with me getting my diagnosis a few months after my second was born. She was about maybe 3 or 4 months at this point, and then my oldest was about 4 going on 5, and I had a lot going on. So like I mentioned in the last video, I was in the middle of like looking for somewhere else to live. I was struggling postpartum, like with my emotions and everything, and then I found out that I had BPD and everything like that. So at this point, like, my world is just crashing. So long story short, I ended up moving in with my mother and my grandmother, who had recently relocated to a different city. So now I'm moving cities again with both of my children by myself. So we move in. I had to, my last job was work from home temporary after I had moved from the department store that I was working at when I was pregnant. So I moved, and the job ended, so I'm now unemployed and living with my mother and my grandmother. So I'm hitting the lowest of lows at this point. I don't know how I'm going to get back on my feet. I still have to take care of the 2 girls and get myself out of this hole. So I end up getting this job through another temp agency for a local candy factory. I don't know anyone out there, never worked this job before, so everything is like brand new to me. My little brother had actually worked there recently because he was already living with my mother and my grandmother. So he gave me like the rundown of the job and what to expect and like people to look out for and people that would be worthy to know. So me, I'm the type of person, when I'm working, I say to myself, I try not to make friends. I don't believe in socializing while I work. I can honestly do without it. But naturally, I'm a nice person. I'm mildly attractive. So, people approach me. About a week or 2 into this new job, there's this guy that's working on my line. Now, typically, I don't work on this line that they put me on this night. Usually, I'm on the line with the sweet tarts. So I would pack the sweet tarts with, like 2 or 3 other females. And those were the people that I had got to know while I was working there. Now, I'm a new girl. So all of the guys would like take turns approaching me and like introducing themselves and try to see if they could shoot their shot. But I was not in the mood at all. Like I said, I'm at rock bottom right now. So my main focus is getting back on my feet. I'm not really looking for relationships. I'm not trying to date nobody. What I went through with my BD was pretty, it was enough for me. I had it, with trying to make relationships work. I just wanted to focus on being a mom and focus on getting my shit together. So this guy is just like staring at me. They switched our lines this day. My line was down, so they spread all of us out. And he is just like staring a hole into my soul. Every time I look up, he's like, so first break comes, and I'm a smoker, so I always go to my car for my breaks. I really don't eat at work, especially if I work a night shift. I don't really have an appetite at nighttime, so I just smoke in my car. So I'm walking towards my car. I'm still in the building, and he walked past. He said, what's up? You got a car? And I'm like, yeah. You smoke? Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. He like, all right, I'm with you. So I was like, okay, I guess. Don't know this guy, but I'm thinking like, okay, well, whatever. I guess, he smokes, I smoke. Fuck it. Because none of the girls that I had met had, they knew I smoked, but we never got to the level of like, oh girl, I'm gonna smoke with you, or I'm gonna smoke with you on my break. We just talked about it. He was the first person that I actually smoked with outside of work. So we get in my car, and there was an older male that I worked with as well. And for weeks he had been creeping me out because every break he would walk up to me and speak. He would ask me questions, and He even mentioned he was married. So I'm like, why are you hovering over me so much? He was one of those guys that was giving me the creeps. So I'm walking towards my car. This guy is following me, unbeknownst to me, until I actually get in the car and I'm facing the entrance of my job and I see him walking towards the car and I'm like, fuck. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, it's just creepy. I didn't ask you to come to my car and I don't appreciate you following me. And I work at night, so this is like, what the fuck? Behind him is the guy that stopped me, that was staring at me or whatever. And so he hopped in the car and acted like he knew me already to kind of like make the guy go away. You know, he kind of came in and tried to like save me. And the older guy just like wasn't getting the hint. So now all three of us are sitting in my car. Awkward as hell. Don't know either one of these dudes. And I'm just hoping like whatever they pass to me isn't laced or has anything extra in it. Because like I said, I don't know him. So we're smoking, we chilling, we cracking jokes. And the guy that I worked on the same line with, he's being like super aggressive. Like asking me, am I seeing somebody, telling me that he wants to get to know me better because he's attracted to me. So I'm like, okay, I'm not seeing anybody, but honestly, I'm not looking for anything either. So I tell him, I give him like a brief rundown of the last 4 or 5 months of my life, about how like my baby daddy left me, how I'm taking care of 2 girls by myself, and I'm only in this city because I'm living with my family now, so I can get back on my feet. So like dating is like the last thing I'm running down my brief history so he knows why I'm not looking. So dude in the backseat, he gets uncomfortable because like at this point we're ignoring him. We're just having our own conversation. And he gets out. He's like, oh, I'm gonna go eat. He leaves. So I thank him and I'm like, thank you so much for just coming to my car and like helping me out, because that dude been following me around and blah 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 blah. And he's like, yeah, and he's married. I bet his wife went to, so he pretty much co-signed what I said. And we honestly started to get to know each other. Like we started asking questions about like our past and like our future, like what we had planned, what we want to do. We started to share stories about stuff we experienced, and we actually like clicked. So we actually ended up being cool. So the next couple of days, following every day after that was like us kicking it. Then it led to me like giving him rides to work because he didn't, he lost his car in an accident when he was dating the mother of his children. So he was like, instead of me paying for Ubers, I know you a little bit better now. You can just give me a ride to work. And I'm right down the street, which he was. So he agreed to give me gas money and smoke with me every time I gave him a ride. Can't lose out there. So I took the deal. So as we're catching rides together and we're chilling more, we're getting to know each other more. Now I'm at his house after work every other day. We just kicking it, getting to know each other. So after like a week and a half of that, he's starting to flirt with me again. He like, you just seem real solid, and I know you're not looking for nothing, but maybe we don't have to be nothing serious. We can just be friends with extra. And I'm like, I don't know. I got to think about it because I don't too much like to shit where I eat. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to mess with people that I work with because it's just unethical. It just makes the workplace awkward. So one day I'm waiting for him to get ready for work. He's running late. So I'm like sitting on his couch waiting for him to come out. He comes out and exposes himself. And he's like, don't be scared. Don't be nervous. Just look at it. I don't know what be happening like with my red flag monitor. Like it just don't be going off when it's supposed to be going off. So I was just like, okay. And I'm like, can you put it away now? And he's like, just touch it. So this is the beginning of our extracurricular relationship. So now we're friends with benefits. Heavy emphasis. He would put a heavy emphasis on, we're not dating. You're not my girl. So if you see me or hear me flirting with somebody, don't get mad. Don't get jealous because we work together, blah, blah, blah. But on the other hand, there were guys coming up to me, flirting with me or whatever, because obviously, we're not making it obvious that we're seeing each other. And he's getting pissed. He's threatening these guys. He's approaching them like unsolicited during work hours about me. Like, oh, that girl, stay away from that girl. XYZ, like basically laying his claim. So now it's gotten to the point where every guy that I work with is scared to say something to me because of him. Okay, so that's going on. And then we start talking about, how much we get paid. And, he's like, I know you need more money to help with your daughters. And I know I need more money because, I live by myself and I'm trying to get my car back, XYZ. So he's waiting on this settlement from this car crash that he got into with the mother of his children. And he's telling me about their relationship as we're getting to know each other. And he's telling me like she took their kid, ran off just because they broke up and they're not seeing each other anymore. And every time he calls, it goes to voicemail, or she has an excuse as to why he can't see his daughter. Just give me this whole sob story, right? And I'm not thinking to ask critical questions, about this situation. Like, why would she get up and just run with the kid? Kind of like what I did with my baby daddy. I didn't think to ask questions. So I'm just kind of taking his story at face value. About a month in, I moved out there about October. So this is like right before Thanksgiving. I noticed he has a gambling problem, because now I'm not only giving him rides to work, now he's paying me to give him rides to a casino in a completely another city. Apparently the mother of his children had moved back and was near this casino that I was taking him to. So one day we visit the casino, he loses, so we're on our way back, and he's like, wait, I got to make a pit stop. So I believe his phone was off at this time, so he was using my phone to like call this number over and over and over again. And I'm noticing he's getting more agitated every time he's getting sent to voicemail. So we pull up to this like mysterious apartment complex, and he parks the car. He's like, I'll be right back. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm thinking it's going to be like 5-10 minutes, no big deal. About an hour goes by, and he comes back to the car, and I'm like, what's going on? Are we ready to go? Like, what's up? He's punching the steering wheel. He's pissed. He's yelling. He's cussing. He's screaming. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So finally, this unknown number calls my phone back, and it's for him. It's the mother of his children. He's cussing at her. He's yelling at her. She keeps hanging up on, and I'm in the passenger seat confused. Okay. And I'm like, shit, you know what I'm saying? I didn't got involved with somebody toxic again, but how toxic? You know what I'm saying? So I'm listening to their conversation, and she's like, you should have thought about that before you put your hands on me. And she starts yelling out a bunch of accusations. So now I'm looking like, damn, he been putting his hands on her. So now I'm starting to ask questions, and he has nothing to say. He's pissed. She never answered the door. He couldn't figure out where she was. So after banging on every door in the apartment complex, we're finally pulling off. And he's driving hysterical. He's pissed. He's yelling, cuss words about her and stuff. And I'm confused. So I'm asking him questions, and he gets mad at me for talking to him, like, while he's freaking out. So I just shut up. And, I dropped him off when we got back. He apologized for flipping out and everything like that. So I just kind of brushed it off. I chopped it up to like baby mama, baby daddy drama. I've never experienced it firsthand, so I'm just assuming that this is how some people's relationships are. So I stay out of it. And then the next thing we're at work, and there's a leader on the line that I work for. He would always try to get on my line, like, ever since that first day we worked together. After that, like every shift, he was begging like the superiors to work on the same line as me, but trying not to make it obvious. You know what I'm saying? But everybody was catching on because of how protective he was over me. So one of these days, they tell him no. He's pissed. He's cussing everybody out. He's claiming that they're like poking at him while he's, working on the other line that he was working on. And he walks out. He walks up to me, is like, where's your keys? Takes the keys and leaves. So I'm thinking he's like on break because he wants to, cool off, relax, bring his... Turns out, he walked out, like he quit. And he was like, I'm just going to come back and get you when your shift is over. So now I'm standing on the line like, I'm either going to sit here and wait for this stranger man to get done driving around in my car when I, get off work, or I'm going to have to follow him. So I follow him. And I'm like, no, if you're walking out, I'm walking out too. There's no way I'm going to have you driving around in my car. But he thought it was like me walking out, making a stance with him type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So long story short, we both end up losing our jobs. And now we're looking for another job. So his idea is we should get a job at the same place. That way we can still, catch rats together, whatever. I'm thinking like, oh, this is the end of this, but it was not. It was only the beginning. So my people think that I'm still working, but I'm going to his house and we're filling out applications and going to the casino every day. So eventually we both get a job at his old employment. It was like a factory for salad and vegetables and stuff like that. I won't mention the name. We both get hired on as machine operators. I've never been a machine operator in my life. I always take like the low tier employment slots. So this was new for me. And I was excited. I've never been a machine operator, and I would have been the first Black machine operator in this specific factory. So I was really happy to start work. We didn't even get through training. Training was about 2.5 weeks. There was another creep at this new job who would make advances at me when he was supposed to be training me. So I'm letting him know what's going on, and he's like shooting the guy looks. He's making threats to him and stuff. So now they're telling him like, we have no work for you. Don't come to work. So now I'm going to work by myself, dropping him off at the casino, and then I'm going to work doing my thing. And I report this guy that's training me, and they basically flipped it on me and was like, oh, I was making excuses because I didn't want to work. They had no video evidence, so they couldn't lay him off. So like literally I'm still working with this guy after I reported what he was doing. So my sexual assault claims completely get ignored, and then they fire him as well, because they said that we were making a commotion. So I contact lawyers. I let my uncle know what's going on. He's the smartest, one of the smartest ones in the family. He's on the accountant side. So he rubs a lot of elbows with important people. So I let him know what was going on. He connected me with a law firm. And I guess the name of this company was so big and so huge, like they didn't want to touch it. They didn't want to pick up my case. They didn't think I had enough evidence. So now we're out of a job again. At this point, my people are asking like, how much longer are you going to be staying here? We might have to start charging rent. And I'm just like, I'm digging myself deeper and deeper into a shithole. So to ease the tension and stress off of my people, he offered me move in with him, bring the girls. He had a 2-bedroom. We give them a bedroom, and then we have a bedroom or whatever. And so we find another job. He wasn't paying rent where he was staying at because something going on with the landlord. They had an agreement because of his car accident that they would give him a year or so to where he didn't have to pay rent. Basically, we didn't have to pay for anything at his place due to his accident. So like he was on a grace period with everything, like the bills, the rent. So we figured the smartest thing would be to do is move in together, find a job before the rent and all that stuff kicks back in. And I wouldn't have to worry about, paying my people since I'm not working. You know what I'm saying? So it just made sense. About a week in, he's still calling the mother of his children off my phone, calling her private, making accounts to reach out to her. None of this is red flagging for me. He even like casually mentions offering me up to like escort sites. Oh, in the meantime, while we're waiting for jobs to call us back, you could be doing this, this, and this. And, you can go over there to the hotel and... No, sir. Was not excited about that at all. And I was kind of flabbergasted that he would even suggest making me a prostitute, considering we were sexually intimate. So it was just like, it was weird. I've never been with anybody that has suggested prostituting me. That was new. Again, red flag radar broken. Did not run. In fact, I pulled myself closer to this monster. And worst of all, I was now living with him. So it was just like his mask was starting to fall off more. He was having a lot of outbursts, like anger outbursts when he would lose at the casino, when he wouldn't get his way. He was like extremely rude to people wherever we went, like customer service, all that. And it was just crazy. Like he tried to pull me into a very dark side of the world. Like, he had me going with him on trips to sell his pills, to he was making calls. He was making calls to get into the drug world. Like, he was bragging about his connections, like all this type of stuff. Basically to reinforce fear in me, to not try to leave and to not cross him over, do him dirty in any type of way. We get into it. Maybe like 2 weeks after I'm living with him, right? He puts me and the girls out. He claims that he went through my phone and he sees that I'm talking to the father of my kids. And I'm letting him know, like, no, I have not talked to him in ages. The only reason I have his number in my phone is for child support papers. When I fill out the child support, they ask for his information. I need to save the number so that they can call him. So he's like, no, you've been texting him and probably deleting messages. Get out, get out, get out. About 2 days go by. He calls, he apologizes, he's sorry, he made a mistake. So there we go, move back in with him after a day of getting put out, right? So now he's working, but I'm not. So now he's footing the bill. This is like right after Christmas. Right after Christmas, we moved in with him. So now we're waiting on taxes. I feel I should pay him for the months that we've stayed with him. And, you know, because I'm not working and we're living in his spot. So I just felt like that I needed to pay him something. So he couldn't hang that over my head. You know what I'm saying? I don't like being in a spot of debt. I don't like owing people. So I already thought, like, I'm going to give him something. But he tried to intimidate me into giving him my entire tax check. So we're laying on the couch one day. He loved to cuddle. So we would cuddle. And I'm just like, this is so weird how you want to cuddle with somebody that you're just friends with benefits. Like, it just wasn't adding up. But I was just, whatever. I like to cuddle too. So we're cuddling. And he asked for my phone. And he tries to log into my online tax profile. I changed the password because I figured out that he figured out that my password was saved in my phone. So I changed it on the computer. Randomly, his hand goes up over my neck. And at first he's like massaging it. And then he just squeezes it super tight. A couple minutes go by. He doesn't say anything. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Let go. Change that motherfucking password. Back. Now. First time he ever put his hands on me. First time he ever threatened me. So now I'm like, I'm in some deep shit, right? So now my red flag monitors are starting to go up. I'm thinking I'm going to give him whatever I'm going to give him for staying with him this long. I'm going to save the rest of my money for my own apartment. I'm going to move out and he can fuck off. So I'm making these plans in the back of my mind, but in the flesh, I'm playing along with everything that he's having me do, right? Take him to the casino, ride past the mother of his kid's house, threaten her 3 times a day. Then we go back to his house and get drunk. Used to drink every day. As a matter of fact, we drank so much that one night I ended up throwing up like green shit. And I was sick for like 4 days. I'm pretty sure I had poisoning. But he wouldn't let me go to the hospital. He wouldn't let me leave the apartment. He would not. Like, it was bad. It was really, really bad. So I want to say this was like by March at this time. He's still the only one working. I got an interview for the job that I have now, but I wasn't working just yet. So now this is like 3 or 4 months I've gone without a job. So I'm waiting on this job to call me back. And I'm still dealing with his shit every day. So one of these days, I take the kids to my mom's house. So we had just got my truck back. Because when we were working at that factory job, we were driving home in a snow blizzard. He had the bright idea to speed through these back roads, even though the weather was bad and the roads were slick. We ended up in the ditch and my grandmother had to save me, get my truck towed and everything like that because we were stuck. So we had just got the truck back and running. I received like my first portion of my taxes. So I gave him what I was going to give him. And I didn't tell him that I had more. So I had what I had put up, but unbeknownst to him. So I dropped the kids off. We're getting ready to go out. The plan was to go to the store, get us an outfit, get something to eat, get a bottle, and then go to a club or to a hotel or, just do something fun. So the night before this, I always pray. I call it my prayer. I always pray my prayer, which is, Lord, if I'm on the wrong path, put me on the right path. I don't want to be in control. I need to follow your will. If there's anyone surrounding me that shouldn't be around me, remove them. So the next day, we're leaving the store. He had just got us an outfit. We were going back to the apartment to change. Everything's cool, copacetic. We leave the house again. We still haven't eaten anything, but now we're drinking and, now we're dressed. So we're riding around trying to figure out where to go. And, I'm telling him, like, he's like, why aren't you drinking? Why aren't you touching the bottle? I thought we were supposed to be turning up. He's poking at me. And I'm like, well, I haven't eaten anything, so I'm scared to drink because I don't want to throw up. Like, every time I drink with him, I throw up. So I'm just like, I don't want to do that. Can we get something to eat? So we're passing restaurants like McDonald's, Burger King, drive-thrus. And I'm like, we can go. And he's refusing to stop. I don't want to stop there. I want to take you somewhere nice. Why can't you just be patient? Why can't you just wait? And I'm like, we haven't eaten anything all day. My stomach hurts. I'm like bent over in the truck complaining. And he's just like angry. Like he's pissed at me. So finally he stops at a restaurant and we're in the drive-thru arguing. All you do is complain. I never know what's wrong with you. Like he's attacking me. So I finally get the food and I'm eating. And I said something to the effect of like, whatever, like, fuck you, whatever. Like we were still arguing. So I tried to end the shit and I'm just like, I got my food. Leave me alone. Fuck what you talking about. Something I said pissed him off because as I'm eating, I just see lightning. He smacked the fuck out of me on the left-hand side of my face. So now I'm just sitting there. Silence. We're at a red light. And I just go, take me home. Take me home. Take me home. Take me home. I don't want to talk about nothing else. This is over. Just take me home. He hits me again. You're not going home, bitch. Blah, blah, blah. You ain't going to disrespect me like that and think I'm not going to do nothing. And I'm surprised, right? I've never been in a physical altercation with another man. Ever. I fought a little boy when I was like 9, but in my adult years, I have never fought a man, ever. And I've never had a man put his hands on me. So this was like, fuck. You know what I'm saying? So we're driving and he's heading back towards our town. Now that we're getting into it and there's obviously no plans being made. He keeps hitting me. Like in between our conversation, like in between us arguing about him putting his hands on me, he's hitting me still. Give me a cigarette. No. Punches me. And we're arguing, right? So now he's speeding down the highway, whooping my ass, and I'm starting to hit him back now. I'm like, I don't even give a fuck if we crash at this point. You're not gonna keep hitting me in my face. So I started to hit him, and we're driving down the highway fighting in the car, like real Ike and Tina Turner type shit. So somehow he breaks through the median and he goes, like he's going the other way now towards the city, towards Chicago. And I'm like, take me home. Where are you going? Take me home. So my phone, there was something wrong with my phone at this time. So I'm trying to dial the police, but I can't because my phone is tweaking out. So my phone is tweaking out. I'm getting my ass whooped. And technically, I'm being held hostage because he wouldn't pull over the car. Would not go toward the house. And he even said, like, if we get to the house, I'm whooping your ass. Like, I'm not going to stop here. So we get to, like, he pulls over because, like, we're hitting each other. He pulls over. I finally get the police called on my phone by doing the side buttons. So they're talking to me through the phone. Then my phone dies. There's a semi truck that stops to see, like, what's going on. And he's like, get in the car. Get in the car. I didn't know what else to do. Because I've never been in this situation. So I'm just going off of my fight or flight emotions. I get back in the truck and I'm like, look, just take me home. We don't have to get the police involved. I never want to speak to you again. Get me home to my kids. I don't have time for this. I don't fight niggas. I don't do this. And he refused. So now we're high speed down the highway again. I don't know where the fuck he's taking me. I'm terrified now because he's making death threats. I'm going to get my cousin. I'm going to call my cousin in the city. By the time we get there, you're going to be a dead bitch. You're going to be a dead bitch. Okay. All right. don't take death threats very lightly. So we get to a red light and I just hop out the truck and I book it. Fuck everything, fuck the truck. So I go, there's no cars around. It's just us. So I run and I hide in the ditch. The way he's parked in the street, he has to get back on the highway, circle around, and then come back up the other end in order to get to me. Because now there's cars coming up next to my ditch. So as he turns down the highway, I'm watching the whole time from the ditch. As soon as he hits that highway strip, I just book it. I start running down the street. I'm like, hopefully somebody will see me. Hopefully I don't get kidnapped or killed. And finally this nice family, they pull over. Woman opens the door. She's like, you look scared and your face is swollen and you're not dressed properly. It was like maybe 30 or 40 degrees. I had on a jean dress with spaghetti stripes and this thin ass jacket. Legs out, no stockings, no socks. Cold as fuck. So I get in and I'm like, please, I don't know where I'm at. Take me to the nearest police station. I'm crying. My face is like this. I can feel it. Like the shit was swollen. And I'll put in some pictures if I still have them. I'll put them in and I'll show y'all how bad it was. So finally I get to the police station and I'm like, I don't want to press charges. I was attacked. I just want to get home. That's it. So they get to ask me questions. What happened? Who did it? Blah, 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 blah. So I, lay it all out. I had to make a report and, I called my mom. Was it my mom? It was either my mom or my grandmother. I called them from the police station so that they could come get me because he still had my truck. So in the middle of me telling them what happened to me, he gets in a traffic stop and tries to outrun the police. So they're already looking for him because he did something on the road and, almost harmed somebody else. So now they're like, we have to press charges because... So they go, look, we have to press charges. This is getting out of control. We have to step in and do what we need to do because now he is a nuisance to the public. He said, you don't have to be part of the proceedings, but we will put your incident in the case. So the state picked it up, I guess, and they pressed the charges against him. And I didn't want anything to do with it. As soon as I got home, I filed a restraining order. I put my daughters on it, my daughter's school. Because like I said, we were living with him. So I had to go get my shit from his house and come back home. So this is like 2 or 3 days goes by. And I'm finally brave enough to go to the apartment and get my shit. Because I'm thinking he's still in jail. I go there and I'm packing my stuff. Something told me to take somebody with me, but I didn't. My brother had to work and I didn't want to bother my mom and my grandma because they were off. So I'm packing my stuff and I hear my car. Like the alarm. Like I got the car back from the police, but I had 2 keys. He had the extra key. Lied to them and said he didn't have it. They release him. He's outside digging through the car to see what he can find like on me. And I'm looking through the window directly at him. He doesn't see me, but I see him. And I'm like, fuck, call the police. It's too late. He done got up to the apartment. The door was wide open. I couldn't lock it because the door was busted from our night that we were going out. So now we're in the apartment together. I'm fucking terrified. The police operator is on my cell phone. I'm not saying nothing, but it's on speaker. Like you can hear everything that they're saying. We're going to send a unit out anyway. Why aren't you responding? There's a restraining order in place. You shouldn't be over there. So they send the officers and he's hiding in the apartment with me. He's like, please don't say nothing. I'll let you get your stuff and just leave. Just please don't say nothing. So I call my mom. My mom comes. She sees the police and she's confused. She's like, well, why am I here if the police is here? So the police let her in. They're like, she wants to get her stuff, but she's not supposed to be here by herself. So we're just here to assist you guys move your things. So I'm packing already and I'm keeping my eye on him, make sure he don't go behind me. Next, like I'm making sure that he's in view, in sight. So my mom, she comes in and she's like, what's going on? And I'm like, Ma. And I let her know what's going on. And I start whispering. I'm like, he's here. But he said he'll let me get my stuff as long as we don't, say nothing. And I'm terrified. Like at this point, I don't know what he's capable of. He got a machete in that motherfucker. I'm pretty sure he had some guns in there too. I don't want to be held hostage. I definitely don't want nothing to happen to my mom. So we got to play it cool. So she's like, all right, cool. The entire time we packing, he's in the bathroom talking shit. Oh, bitches, you can't trust bitches, and bitches do the most, and you acting like you scared of me. And I'm like, you whooped my ass. Of course, I'm terrified. I don't know what the fuck you capable of. And you said you was gonna kill me. Like, I'm scared, nigga. So me and my mom, we're toward the end of packing all of my stuff. The police were just like, I don't think there's a need for us to be here. You ladies got it. We'll be outside. So they went outside in a truck. So now he's walking around the apartment. Now he's more vocal. Oh, I'm sorry we had to meet like this, Miss Moore, but your daughter, she's out of control, and everything just went too far. And then he started ordering pizza. Like, it's just like mentally he was all over the place. And I was terrified because I've never seen anybody this disturbed. You know what I'm saying? And as we're leaving, he's like, I just want a hug. We finally get out. He slams the door. Got all my stuff and I take off. And I'm like, I hope I never see this guy again. About a week later, we ain't even went to court for our shit yet. The restraining order or the case. He's in jail again. He had a breaking and entering charge on his baby mama. Broke in the apartment, breaking and entering or whatever. And he did something, but the police got called and he got caught. So now he's in jail with 3 different charges. And I'm trying to keep up with the court cases because everything was still like through Zoom. Like they were still doing court through Zoom meetings and stuff. So I'm starting my new job. I moved back in with my mom and my grandma, and I'm attending the court like through Zoom. They granted the restraining order, but they never served it because he was in jail. They didn't figure out he was in jail because he was in jail in a different county. So if it weren't for me like moving again, the restraining order would have been invalid and he still would have very much had access to me. But shortly after that, I ended up in another relationship. So now I'm back at my mom's house in the basement working from my new job. And my godbrother, he's like, I got somebody for you. And I'm like, I don't know. So I eventually end up entertaining this guy. And that's what led to the beginning of this Manic Monday vlog. If you remember the first episode, I recapped my breakup with that guy. And that's where we are today. That's where the relationship line ends, y'all. That was a pretty traumatic experience for me. I went to therapy after that. I sought out a psychiatrist after all that shit happened. I think I started medication at the end of that year. So by the time I was in the new relationship, I had a psychiatrist, a therapist, and I had began medication. Along with dealing with what that relationship came with. It was just, last year was a hectic year, following into this year. And after the last relationship I was in ended, God forbid me getting my ass beat and then the next relationship ends like it ended. I really put a halt to everything. And that's why I created this vlog. That's why I need these videos so that I can go back and learn my patterns, learn my behaviors, and change it. Because I am tired of being traumatized. I'm tired of making bad decisions that lead to traumatizing things. And I definitely do not want my kids to continue to go through these crazy situations with me. It's unnecessary when all I need is help. So again, if you display any of these symptoms, please go get an evaluation. Most insurances cover that evaluation, and we need to know what's wrong with us so that we know what to fix. Especially if you have kids depending on you. I highly suggest you go get that checked out. And if you are in a domestic violence situation, if you do feel like you need help, you need to reach out to somebody to get you out of that situation, I highly suggest you do that as well. Do what you need to do to get out of that situation, because a lot of women don't make it out alive. and I definitely could have been one of those numbers. So I take a whole new look at domestic violence and stuff like that. It's really dangerous. And if you know anybody, just try to help them out as best as you can. Support them, because you just never know. You might be the one that they need. So this is going to end episode 3. It's going to end the relationship line as well. I thank y'all for hanging on strong, because I know these stories be long. And I hope y'all learning something just like I'm learning from, my life and things like that. And I'll catch y'all in episode 4. Bye.